In this video, I would like to talk with you about a tool named Publisher Rocket. In this video, we'll learn how to find a profitable Amazon KDP low content niche, and we're going to cover all of these different kinds of tools right here. Of course, there are other tools that you can use as well, for instance, Helium 10, but the one that I would recommend is this one called Publisher Rocket. All right, so let's get started. First of all, what we need to do is we need to, first of all, pick a market in which we want to publish. In order to do so, we have to go to the right top corner, and right here, you can see the American flag, and over here to the right it says UK, and then of course we got DE for Germany. So first of all, what we can do is we can, for instance, say, well, I want to publish my book in the US market, so I'm going to click right here on USA. Then afterwards I can pick the language. In my case, there are actually two options, which are English and German. So Deutsch basically means German, and in my case I'm going to click right here on English, and of course I want to analyze the book market. Now, why am I not clicking on ebook? Of course, no one buys pretty much an ebook that has no content. So if, for instance, we're selling a low content book and that is a notebook and there's literally no content in the book, then of course it doesn't make sense to publish it as an ebook. In my case, I would just click right here on book and see basically where it goes, so how the data really looks like. All right, so first of all, what we need to do is we need to click right here on keyword search. As soon as we've done that, we can pick a keyword and analyze the keyword right here. Now, in my case, what I would do is I would, for instance, type in just a basic term like, let's say, diet journal, which is just a journal where people can, for instance, write down calories, or where they can track, let's say, their weight loss journey or something like that. And in my case, I click right here on book, and then I click on Go Get 'em Rocket. And as soon as I've done that, now Publisher Rocket will actually analyze this niche. And over here to the left, you can now see the different kinds of keywords. So for instance, we have here the keyword diet journal, then diet journal and food diary, diet journal and food diary 2021, then diet journal for weight loss for women, and so on, all the way down here to keto diet journal. And as you can see, you cannot really see anything. What we need to do is we need to go over here to the right and click right there on these buttons. And as soon as we do that, all the data will actually pop up right here, and we can analyze that data. Now, in a lot of cases, actually, you will see a lot more keywords over here to the left. We're going to cover more examples here in this course. But what we are looking for pretty much is, first of all, a book that doesn't really have a lot of competition, where we can earn a lot of money with that book. And also, of course, it's important to us that people on Amazon actually look for that book, and in that niche that there's not just one book that sells very well, but actually multiple books that sell very well. Now, what exactly can we see right here? Well, first of all, we got the average number of pages right here. So for instance, in this niche, the average books have a length of 137 pages. Then down below, diet journal and food diary, the average length of the book is 121 pages, 112, 119, and so on and so on. Then of course, we get the number of competitors. Of course, that is the number of competitors on Amazon. So in this niche, we, for instance, have more than 1,200 competitors, then more than 1,200, and down here, there's one niche where we only have 169 competitors. Then we got the average price right here. The average price is, of course, the listing price on Amazon. So just remember that, of course, this is the price where we still need to deduct the, let's say, fee that Amazon takes. So the book, for instance, is priced at $9, and we have to deduct the fee that Amazon takes, of course, minus also the printing costs. So of these $9, we're probably not going to make more than, let's say, like $2, $3, or maybe $4 or something like that. Then down below, we can see that number for all of these different kinds of niches. And right here, actually, we have one niche where the average price is at $26. And of course, we can work with that. We can look at these prices and pretty much say, all right, I'm going to make my book a bit more or a bit less expensive actually, or I'm going to make it even in some cases a bit more expensive if I'm actually offering something of higher value. Then over here to the right, we can see the average monthly earnings. So these are the earnings in that niche. And you probably will say right now, well, this is a lot of money. Every single book that I'm going to publish is going to make $5,489 or $1,283 or $4,499. And of course, no, this is not the case. These are the earnings of the top 10 books. So these are the average earnings. There might actually be a book that makes, let's say, 20,000, and a couple other books only make, let's say, 1,000. So it averages out at around, let's say, $5,489. And if you publish a book in that niche, it can actually be that you only make a couple of dollars, not even a couple of $100, or let's say like $50. It might actually be a very low amount of money, like let's say $2 or $4 or something like that per month. And a lot of you might say, well, this is not enough, like $2 or $4. How am I going to build a business around that? Well, you can if you focus on quantity. And a lot of very successful low content publishers, they don't just have, let's say, 5 books online, but they actually have hundreds, if not thousands of books online. So what you got to think about is, can I build this business in the long term, focusing on quantity, or is that just simply something that I don't want to do? Now, just to give you, let's say, a bit of motivation here, if you build such a business, you can pretty much, at least to a certain extent, calculate your earnings, which is in a lot of other businesses not possible. So let's, for instance, say you publish a book on Amazon Kindle, and you can be pretty sure that your book at least makes, let's say, like 50 cents or $1 or $2 or something like that per month. So if, for instance, you publish, let's say, 1,000 books, if each book only makes 50 cents, well, you're still at let's say, $500. Or, for instance, if the book makes $1 per month, then of course you're at, let's say, $1,000. If the book makes on average $2 per month, then of course you're at $2,000. So this is something that hopefully will motivate you a bit. And you probably think right now, well, 1,000 books, that's a ridiculous amount, and I totally agree with that. But it is still something that is possible. It's manageable to actually create so many books and to publish them. And I can just tell you, based on my own experience, that the Amazon KDP low content publishing business is a very easy business if you're willing to invest the amount of effort and the amount of time into the business. So again, from my perspective, I can just tell you that it's great that you can actually calculate your earnings. You pretty much can say, all right, if I publish, let's say, 1,000 books, I'm going to make $1,000. And if you publish more, you might actually make a lot more. So of course, then we got a couple more stats over here. So right there, we got the estimated Amazon searches per month. That just simply means how many people are actually looking for that book every single month. So these might actually be, let's say, only, let's say, 3,000 people, but a couple of people actually searched twice, and that's why we have a number of 3,546 up here, then 454, then less than 100, 1,640, and so on and so on. Then over here to the right, we get the so-called competitive score. Now, what exactly is the competitive score? The competitive score goes from 1 to 100. If the competitive score is very high, let's say like 95 or 85 or something like that, it's very difficult to actually make money in that niche. If the competitive score is very low, let's say like 10 or 20 or maybe even 1, then it is very, very easy to actually make money in that niche. So what exactly are we looking for? Well, of course, we're looking for books with not too many competitors, with great earnings, and also a very low competitive score. Now, as you can see over here to the right, some of these, let's say, some of these numbers or some of these stats are actually colored in different colors. So for instance, right here, this one is in green, this one is in red, this one is in, I would call it orange or something like that, or a sand color pretty much. And the question that you probably have is, what exactly does that mean? And you probably already can guess that, of course, green means that's pretty much a good number. If it's red, it's a bad number. And maybe in between we have this orange, like pretty much like sand color or something like that. And you would be totally correct about that green means good, red means bad, and orange is something in between. But you will also see at certain points that these numbers change, and also the value or the meaning of these numbers change. What I mean by that is, for instance, this. Here we have a number of 3,546, and you might say, well, a lot of people are actually looking for that book, but this one is in orange. When you go down here, you see a much smaller number, 1,640, or even smaller right here, 454, and these numbers are green. And you might be asking, well, why is that the case? Well, because these two interact right here. So the competitive score always interacts with the color of, let's say, the estimated Amazon searches per month. So it might actually be that sometimes you have a very high competitive score, but the number of searches is very low, and that's why, you know, it is perhaps a red color. But in some cases also, you have very high competitive score and very high searches, and it's in an orange color. So there are actually, let's say, arguments for and against what I just said, because sometimes there are actually numbers, and this might be a little bit confusing to you, but sometimes there are situations where you have a very high competitive score, and right here it's green, and you have a competitive score which is very similar, but a much higher number here, and it's only orange. What I would look at, and this is just one thing that I would remember, on average, I would say that the competitive score, if it is red, it will dictate this score over here to the left. So this dictates always this right here. And if the competitive score is very high, and let's say the color right here is red, then I wouldn't even enter that niche. I would always say that the competitive score is more important than the estimated Amazon searches per month. And that's why I personally only really look for three things. I look first of all, of course, at the earnings. So how much money can I actually earn from those books? Let's, for instance, say I look at these niches right here and I see, well, all of these are great, and all of the earnings are, let's say at least above like $500 or something like that. Then the next thing that I would do is I would go over here to the competitive score, and I would look for a competitive score that actually works for me. So for instance, in my case, what I would look at is these competitive scores right here, which are green. So 20, 20, 33, 33, 40. These are the ones that are really interesting me. Then another score, and this is not actually the third information that I'm really looking for, but then I try to match these two. I try to look for a competitive score which is low, but also I want these searches to be pretty high. So competitive score low, estimated Amazon searches per month high. And if I find something that fits exactly that, like let's say this one right here, then I would go over here to the right and I would click on competition. And what I now do is I analyze the competition in that niche. And as you can see right here, and this is what I'm really looking for, I want these earnings to be homogeneous. So what do I mean by homogeneous? It's very important that the earnings are, let's say, not necessarily just in, I would call it one corner. So for instance, like one book makes all the money. What I'm really interested in is a lot of big books making a lot of money. And this is actually a great niche. So for instance, right here, we got this book. This one earns per month 8,128. Then down below, this one only earns 145, but that's fine. 237, then again 3,584, 3,932, 1,695, and so on and so on. So all of these books do make a lot of money, and that is what I find interesting. Why? Because sometimes there might be publishers which have a very large brand. So for instance, when you enter the children's book niche, you will see that a lot of Hollywood stars and very famous people, they all publish children's books. And of course they have a massive brand. So when people look for children's book and they see these books, especially these books, then of course they click on them, they purchase them because of the name of the brand. And then there's a couple of books which earn a lot of money and all the other books don't really earn any money. And that is the one thing that I would look at if I were you. So make sure that all of these books actually make money, that no book or very, very few books earn pretty much nothing. Like all of these are very, very good. There's only this one book here which only makes $21 per month, but that is fine. All of these other ones earn a lot more, and you can actually scroll down and click right here on load more and analyze even more niches. And you will see that all of these other books right here, they all do make money. And there's even one book right here that earns $15,001 per month, and this one $57,895 per month. So that would be a very interesting niche. But one more thing that I would actually look at if I were you is this, make sure that there's no one with a massive brand. So for instance, if you see that all of these books earn money and all of them, let's say, are in the same kind of, they have the same kind of level of earnings, then I would also look at the left over here and I would look at these books and think about whether these people that are publishing those books have actually big brands. So are these Hollywood stars or famous people or something like that? And in this case, I can say no, of course, these are not, let's say, famous people or something like that are publishing these books right here. These are just normal people like you and I. And that's why we can pick that niche and can be quite certain that our books are gonna sell as well. Because if, for instance, some very famous person publishes a book, then of course they artificially boost their sales because of their name or because they use their social media reach to build traffic or to attract customers or something like that, which are all things that we probably cannot do on the same level as they are doing. Now, one more thing that I would look at is actually this. Right here, the journal that we just clicked on, or the niche that we clicked on, it says right here, Diet Journal Optavia. And I'm actually not sure what Optavia means. I'm sorry, maybe you know what that means, but to be honest, I don't know. And that could actually be a problem, because if I publish a book where I don't know really what it is, or if I don't know the term right here, then it could be a brand or something like that. So when you, for instance, see a name right here, which is a little bit weird, and you think, well, I'm not actually sure what this is, then think about whether this is actually a book where, let's say, a brand could be behind that, and people are looking for the name of the brand in the title. So if you, for instance, then use the brand of, or the name of the brand in your title, this could actually, get you sued pretty much. So make sure that you're not using any kind of brand names in the title of your book. All right, that was it now here for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope we can see each other in the next one.